You are only limited because you think you are. I remember writing that in my journal one day and really sitting with that thought for a few. It wasn't easy holding space for that thought, but I knew if I didn't face it, it would just linger on and damage my fertile soil. The only limits that exist are the ones we create in our mind. We love telling stories, don't we? We tell these stories by stringing together all these elaborate details of what we think might happen, which tends to be the worst case scenario. When you're thinking about possible outcomes, do you tend to lean toward the negative or the positive? Oh, I know. You say, Letty, I'm a realist. I see things for what it is. Now, to that I say, that's great. But if you're spending all your time focused on what is, then you are missing out on creating what will be. Often what stops you from creating that next best level in your life is the limiting beliefs playing on repeat in your mind. It's like listening to a song on the radio that you don't like, but yet you know all the words. It's time to change the song and you are the DJ of your own playlist. We're going to take those limits off those limiting beliefs so that you can have the mindset necessary to make your dreams come true. Stop deciding what you can't do when you haven't even tried. You haven't even looked into how it could all work out because you've already decided. Stop placing limits on you and what you're capable of when you are infinite. Your potential is infinite. So take off those limiting beliefs. There's no more of creating limits on you because there are no limits. Encouragers unite! This is for you if you don't have the positive support you need to chase your dreams while doing all the things. Or maybe you just need those positive vibes from other positive people doing positive things. You want to do self-improvement together to be great throughout all the areas of your life. If this is you, you found your tribe. I go live once a month, and this is also where we collaborate because together we can do so much more. Join now, and you get to help me create a community we love that serves and supports us in all the right ways. Let's build it together in the Encouragers Unity. We can all use more encouragement in our lives, so click the link in show notes to get started now, and I'll see you inside. In the midst of doing all the things, you can do all things and chase your dreams. Stay encouraged as we go on this journey called life, tackling everything that comes our way while we shine our light despite any circumstances we face. No more downplaying or dimming your light, because through the good, the bad, and everything in between, together we can encourage over everything. Encourager! I'm so happy to be connecting with you in this moment. I believe this is divine and there are no accidents. We are here together for a reason, and having this opportunity to just share ideas and pour some positivity into your world, it is truly such a gift. As an encourager, I really wanted to pull back the curtain for you and give you a glimpse inside of some of the topics that I work through one-on-one in my coaching program with my elite encouragers. Limiting beliefs is one of those topics I stand beside you to face head on so you can take off the limits and become limitless. We all have limiting beliefs at some point in our lives. They show themselves when we are facing a new transition, challenge, or opportunity. They even show up as decisions we've made, like whatever follows, I can't. The I can't find a new job because there's no opportunities here. I can't find a partner because all the good ones are gone. I can't go back to school because the kids need me. The many reasons why we decide we can't do something often stems from limiting beliefs about our situation or our circumstances. The ones that often pose the most limits are the ones that we place on ourselves. The I don't have time for self care, let alone go back to school, or I can't take on that new career because I don't know anything about this, or everyone is going to look at me like I'm crazy because now this is what I want to do, or no one has done this, so who do I think I am to do this? Or the classic, I'm too fat, too old, too shy, too busy to start this. Now, if you didn't hear yours, here's your chance to insert it here. Mine was, I'm just a single mom and an introvert. I can't start my own business, especially with the kids. It's just too hard. I did what I see a lot of people do. I used to think I'd wait until the kids were grown and gone before I started my business, or I'd lose the weight or wait until things calmed down. Then, once my mom passed away, I really realized time waits for absolutely no one. I may not have the time I think I'm going to have after the kids are grown and gone, or when I lose weight, or whatever other excuses I was giving myself to stay playing small. First of all, I am not just anything, and neither are you. We are multidimensional beings with vast interests, skills, talents, and abilities to be and do whatever we want. So don't give in to that just mentality. I came to realize I had all these divine thoughts of all the things I wanted to do. But instead of seeing them as divine seeds being planted, I think of every reason why the now me was not up for the task or capable of doing what it takes to be ready. It all starts with the thought that leads to our default and then leads to a decision. If this sounds like you, I'm here to remind you, stop talking yourself out of a good thing. Stop talking yourself out of your dreams. Those divine seeds are being planted by God, your creator, or whomever it is that you believe in. Those ideas are not by accident. They are by design, and his design is always divine. So don't be afraid to look at your limiting beliefs and why you think you can't do it. I'll get into how a little bit later on. Let's look at your default, as we all have one. We all have a place that we tend to go when we get new information. You may tend to go to the dark side, or you may tend to lean more into the light or have more of an optimistic view of things. Very often, you can go down a rabbit hole of all the things that can go wrong and give little to no time to what can go right when that's available too. A lot can actually go right. If you tend to go towards the dark side first, start to notice when you do. Bringing in that awareness allows you to make a new choice. You can set up some boundaries for yourself, like you can spend 10 minutes on the dark side. And then you've got to go to the light. Doing this will help you gain control over your default. It doesn't have to just be, quote unquote, the way you are, because you have the power to change it. If you tend to be more optimistic, great. There is always room for improvement. So how can you take this to the next level? Being optimistic can be such a blessing because you can reduce your stress and see things to be grateful for so much faster in this space. It's a lovely place to create from. So if you feel like you rank pretty high in this area, how can you supersize it? Now, I really want to talk to my realist. Yes. In honor of keeping it real, it is important to see the real and keep it real. You know what I mean? Obviously, you don't want to be in denial about a situation or ignore blatant facts, as they can really hurt you. While you can see things for what they are, don't spend so much time focused here, because in doing so, you're just going to get more of what you have right now. Tony Robbins said it best, where focus goes, energy flows. You have already created this. Fantastic. Now let's create something even better. We get stuck in the right now, especially when it's painful. When you are in pain, suffering, or grieving, it can seem as if it'll last forever. Although it's as temporary as anything else, the forever feeling can cause you to ruminate or really just marinate right here when it's time for a greater vision for the future. That vision for the future is going to require the next level you. Really, everything boils down to you versus you. It's hard to get to that next level when your old or current version of you has every excuse in the book on why you can't achieve a goal. So know your default and upgrade it to the next level so that it will serve you better. You are worthy of self-care every day, not just on a Sunday. As you do all the things and chase your dreams, self-care has to be a major part of your day-to-day life. Giving yourself what you need is the key to being able to give everybody else what they need. If you're having a hard time making sure your self-care is on your list, get all the deets in the Encourager's Insider Guide to Self-Care. These free, easy DIY tips for simple ways to make self-care a part of your daily routine, plus some bonus goodies. Get your free Encourager's Guide to Self-Care because you deserve to be a priority on your list. Grab it right on the blog or the show.encourageovereverything.com/self-care freebie. No more being last on your list. Grab it today and give yourself the gift of self-care. Now, I couldn't help myself, but I've sprinkled in some of it already, but let's really get into the 3 ways to take the limits off. First, you want to bring awareness to your thoughts and actually engage with your thoughts. What I mean by this is starting to pay more attention to what you're thinking. There is a lot of mindless thinking going on. Some thoughts are just happening on repeat. Think about some of the thoughts that you always have or have frequently. How do you feel when you think about those thoughts? Whenever you think about the worst case scenario, do you actually go into what you would really do if that scenario actually happened? Most times the answer is no. You may not let yourself go there because it seems too scary. But if you actually take it there, yes, honey, take it there, you'll find it's actually not scary at all, or even less scary than you may have thought. I was working with a client who was scared to go back to school in a completely different field, super unrelated to anything that she'd ever done up until this point. She was afraid to fail. Isn't that true for us? That fear of failure seems so real. The thought of it happening is terrifying. We'd rather not act on it because if the worst actually happened, it would do what exactly? So if you go back to school and fail a class, what's the worst thing that can happen? You take the class again? Whoa! Move over, Stephen King, because it's getting way scary up in here. Even if your worst case scenario is way scarier than that, let's hear it. Say it out loud. But more importantly, what would you then do if that happened? The truth of the matter is you can face whatever comes your way. You are equipped to handle anything that comes up at you. Even if you don't feel like you are, trust me, you are right here, right now in this moment because why? This is your opportunity to become equipped. This is your chance to shine a light on your capabilities. It may mean you need to dust off some old skills you haven't used in a while, or put back on your student hat and take some courses or go back to school to learn this new area. Limiting beliefs are just opportunities to shine a light on places within you that need to grow or develop. Looking at all the excuses or reasons from earlier, these are all capabilities to be gained. You do have time for self-care or to go back to school, but you have to make time. You can take on a new career that you don't know anything about because you can learn about it and report on it until you become an expert. That's actually one of the greatest ways to learn, is to learn and teach someone else. It really solidifies the lessons in you. So keep that little pro tip right there. And yes, people may look at you like you're crazy because you want to do something brand new, but one day they'll look at you and think how brave you were to live your life in the commas. Yes, do all the things that you want to do in this life while you are living. You are not taking it with you. You may be the inspiration they need to live their dreams. No one has done it before. And that is even more reason for you to do it. Be the first. And you are not too anything to start. Don't let your size, your weight, your age, or even your shyness keep you from acting on the divine seeds planted in you. After my mom transitioned, I knew I had to go after my dreams because I am a single mom, an introvert, and I'm this size, and you get the rest. I had to do it. If not now, then when? My mom passed so very young, and I'm only 15 years younger than her. I knew I had to live my life now because of these things, not in spite of them. I hope you're encouraged to do the same. The last way I want to share with you to take the limits off your limiting beliefs is to recognize your wins more often and really take them in. Brendon Burchard talks a lot about integrating your wins, and this is exactly what he means. So many of us are modest because we don't want to be conceited, but take a page out of Remy Ma's book. She said, I'm conceited. I got a reason. Hey, that's the jam. If you are going to be conceited, think highly of yourself by remembering all the ways you've already won, because your track record is long, honey. Think about your recent wins too. When I ask people what their recent wins are, a lot of times they don't even know. A win can be as simple as you woke up this morning. It can be as great as you completed that degree or passed that class. You won that award or got the job. You just taking care of the kids, honey. They still walking around, living and breathing. Hey, that's an accomplishment. Look back on all the things you have faced that were meant to tear you down when all they did was build you up. You made it through the darkest times you thought would take you out the game, honey. And here you are still standing. It's not so much about how far you still have to go as it is about how far you've already come. You have a lifetime full of wins already accumulated and stacked up, but you don't give yourself credit for these things. My friend, you are not the average bear. You are out here doing amazing things, big, small, and everything in between. You are here listening to this positive message and building yourself up so you can go out and be amazing. Give yourself some credit. Be your own DJ Khaled, okay? Speak those powerful affirmations over yourself. You better hype yourself up in the same way you pour into people. Do it for you because you deserve it. You need it as much as all those you pour into. Recognize all the great things you've already done, especially the things you thought you'd never be able to do. An incredible comedian, the late David A. Arnold, once said, "You don't know what you can do until you do it." If that ain't a word, honey. Stop deciding what you can't do when you haven't even tried. You haven't even looked into how you could do it, all because you've already decided. Stop placing limits on you and what you're capable of when you are infinite. Your potential is infinite. Those words just feel so good to me. Use those as your new affirmations. I am infinite. I have infinite potential. Yes. I hope you walk away from this podcast recognizing the only limits that exist are the ones you think are there. No one can block your blessings. What is for you, and there is no man nor woman that can stand in the way of what God has already granted you. You just have to believe it, claim it, and own it as yours. Take the limits off of your limiting beliefs because there are no limits. Shoot, ask Master B. Encourage over your own limitless and infinite self because together we can encourage over everything. Encourager, thank you so much for tuning in. You are literally inside my dream come true. If you enjoyed this episode, here's some ways you can say thank you. Share it with a few friends. You are a true encourager, and spreading encouraging messages to lift each other up, that's what we do. Leave a review, light me up with some stars, and share your feedback because this is how we get more encouragement out there. To keep the conversation going or to connect with other fellow encouragers, head on over to the EOE After Party. Hey! It's a free space where we can connect and support one another as we chase our dreams while doing all the things. Check out today's show notes for today's sponsors or how to become an elite encourager, along with all the ways to stay connected. Or meet me on Instagram at Encourage Over Everything. Your support is such a gift. From my heart to yours, thank you, my friend. Until next time, I'm sending you love, light, and loads of positivity because together we can encourage over everything.